Okay, Malachi part 4. And we've been doing pretty good here. And let's see, where am I? Okay. Now, okay. This is where I left off at here. But what I want to do is go up here and show you what has been found so far in the last video. And you can take a screenshot of this and then read it later. What I did notice also is that I had that hanging there. I didn't put that down, that it's not needed. I was thinking about using it maybe for one or the other, but it just doesn't hook as well as the others do. I still have a problem with this here, word build up. And then I needed to add an S there when I did a real quick review. Okay, now you're caught up in this one here. Like I said, it shouldn't be too long. It's only that far, and then I'm going to be able to go and see if the pieces I have, if they can be rearranged to actually tell the story correctly, or if they're just pieces from different times. To get started here, the last one was here where our creator was speaking. So we should have him speaking here, but you notice a 4 verse and you see 3 verse, 3 verse, and 3 verse. Can I make them a 4 verse? Let's see. But you who fear my name, the son of, oh, I forgot about this. Let me show you something what's really unique about the words son of righteousness. Let me open this program up, or this text up, and put it out there. Okay, now this is the 1611 preface, and if you haven't read it, this shows you how much corruption is done by atheists actually editing your text. For example, they're to promote the common good, and these are reasons why anyone who knows the story can edit the text, okay? Example, in Revelations, as you know, anyone who changes a word is condemned forever. Well, there's 39 different Bibles, and to own copyrights, they all had to change the words. Got it? So they got words in there that are just not true. And you go through this and you go very in depth and take a look at it. Here they have, they call a man who is a clerk, Gregory the Divine, as a title, the Divine. Have you ever known anybody to be divine? Anyways, they give him the name. Here they talk about the first emperor Rome corrected the calendar in order for the course of the sun. Notice the capital letter on the S, sun. This is what I'm getting to. Now, they're all happy to do this because, see, they were under our Creator's calendar, which is the solstice, summer solstice, as being the first year of their calendar year, which is the Passover day. Okay, the summer solstice is your Passover day, and you start counting there. And the first day is holy. So every 7 days after that starts another holy day. Okay, the first day of every week of their calendar was the holy day. Not the way they made it up, they tried to change it. But these people were so glad they had to write it down and tell us years later that they were happy that they corrected the calendar. They're happy they corrected our Creator's calendar. Okay, the title son here, okay, with a capital S. Why do they use a capital S on the word son? Well, the Egyptian god is a sun god, and that's Ra, and he's from Egypt. That's why in the Vatican courtyard they have that Egyptian, what do they call it? I got to look that up because I can't think of that what it is right now. But the object is if I scroll down here a little bit farther, now this is what I was going over in the 2 videos ago about how they have this, they meditate to have sex with a so-called female goddess. And I tried to explain this bubble as this bodily God. And then this is what brings forth fruit every month. In fact, later in this description, as you go down, what is your reward for studying the Bible? Is to eat a fruit every month. I don't think so. And let's see. And then it's nature taught natural man to confess. Nothing about our Creator is teaching us. Our Creator teaches, created everything. No, nature taught a natural man to confess. It's their words, not mine. And then here we have the words, the Son of Righteousness, okay? And it's a capital S, all right? Now that's what I'm getting to here. They're willing to put disguisingly into the text, Ra, the sun god, is of righteousness. All right. Now, let me get back to the text. And what I want to do is I want to look this up. Where is it? The Son of Righteousness, right here. This was verse 2. Okay, it must be in chapter 4. I'm not in chapter 4. Oh, don't have it on screen. Chapter 4. No, they didn't capitalize the word Son of Righteousness here. Okay, that's curious that they didn't, though. But back to the text. Now you know where the Son of Righteousness is coming from. So this can't be, it might be edited to actual Son, meaning Jesus. Our Son of Righteousness will rise. But this is not true. It's healing. It's wings healing. So that's out. But who will fear my name? And this doesn't need to be. And you will tread down the wicked, for they will be like ashes under the soles of your feet. No, that never happened. So now we have this up here not happening. Okay, on the day that I am preparing, says Wyvie, and he's talking to himself as third person, and he's even using his own name instead of I say this. Remember the law from Moses, my servant. Remember the law. Remember the laws. I gave Moses, my servant. I need to add, I gave Moses my statutes and my commandments. This is commandments, which I commanded for my nation in Horeb. Well, this is this mountain that they're talking about. Wrong place, wrong time, not true. As in the Psalms, we notice there was no 40 years of traveling around. So 40 years is wrong. But you would find that in the Psalms that I've done, because they go through two of them that go through, what do I have that under? I think it's under the prophets talking about, and they're summarizing things, and there was no 40 years in the desert. Have you ever seen the Sinai, and you ever watched the path that they've got going, how they go through the most mountainous range that you can, going up and down mountains? Well, the funny thing is where'd they get the boards to make the house for the tent for our Creator? The tent for our Creator has planks that are 1.5 cubits wide and 10 cubits long. Now, there had to be hundreds of these to build the fence that goes around it, and must have still had plenty enough for the people to use. So they had these wagons that they had to haul brick around that they used to make his tent for meeting. Okay, yes, his tent for meeting with them. So can you imagine, say, maybe 500 of these carts going up and down in the mountains? I can't. That just proves that when you look at that, you can't get that cart up there, up a mountain and come down a mountain. And it's just Doesn't make sense. Commanded for all Israel, and that would have been a nation, Israel. Behold, I'm going to send you Elijah the prophet. Okay, here we've got our Creator talking about reincarnation. Okay, this is not true. He doesn't teach reincarnation. Before the coming, in fact, Jesus told you that John was actually Elijah. That's untrue. You have to be smarter than the text when you read it. Jesus commanded us, and what was it, Matthew something, that you are to be more righteous than the scribes to enter into heaven. Definitely I'm fulfilling those words because I'm showing you what's wrong in the text, that this is teaching reincarnation and doesn't need to be there. Creator knows there's no reincarnation. Those that are wanting to be gods thinks there's reincarnations. So this is being put in by Buddhism. Before the coming of the great terrible day, he will restore the hearts of the father's son, the son's heart. Father, least I come and smite the land with a curse. Okay. All this is going to be going out because that's the end and there's not enough text here to say it. So now that we've gotten rid of the worst text, I'm sorry, I should have blown that up so you could read it easier. Now I guess you can go over it and see what was talking about. Take your screenshot of that as well. Okay, now the text goes like this, though. Now I need to make it smaller. That's big enough for you to read. A prophecy from YHVH to Israel through Malachi. I have loved you, says YHVH, but you will say, how have you loved us? Is Esau's Jacob's brother, yet I have blessed Jacob. When I hated Esau, I made his mount a desolation. Desolation is not the correct word. Made his mountain like a desolation. Like a, oops. Like a, I would say, I made his mount like a desolation. I made his mount like, I was hoping by this time I would have a word for that. I don't right now, but I'm just gonna say I'm gonna add these words here right now because actually, if you read the text below, here it says, although Edom now says, we have been beaten down, we will return and build up our ruins. So desolation wasn't quite it. They will rebuild, but I will tear down, and the travelers will call them a wicked land, the wicked land. And your eyes will see this, and you will say, YHVH exalted us beyond the borders for Israel. Now this took time when David, let me put that up, and to go over it one more time, here's the battle that was going on. Like I said, king down here died, his son took over, David sent people down to tell him condolences. His advisors talked him into, they came here to spy over, to take over your land, which means they knew David was down here conquering all over the place and had cleaned out everybody that was harassing them around here. So what this guy did was sent to Aram, he was in Damascus, and said, side with us for battle. They came down to this area here, or in this area on this side of the river, and on this side of the river is where Edom showed up, and David divided the army in two, and they went up to fight these guys here and fight these guys. Now this is the story of what they're talking, our Creator's talking about, that he had them make Edom a desolation, or like a wasteland. But the next text is coming from, let's see, the next text is coming down here, where we know this idiot here, whoops, what did I do to get this? To do this. What happened? No, not that one. Oh, I closed it out. Something. I made it close out. I got to go find it again. Okay, maybe I clicked too fast here. But the first one starts up here with David, okay? Oh, what happened? Okay, I don't have my pointer set up. I must have to reboot my computer. Anyways, here's David's rule right here. And when we're talking about the priests that are coming up, this idiot had the practice of the female goddess, sitting and meditating the female goddess. And he stuck his idol into the house of our Creator, brought in horse gods into the courtyard, and started setting up all things. So to do that, the priests were corrupt. Now, this has to take place before this happens. Okay, before it absolutely happens. And this is in Judah. So actually it has to happen in this time area, okay, in this time area, or in the beginning of his 50 years. So I guess Malachi is truly from this timeline to begin with. And here's how I'm going to prove that. This now becomes two stories here. Okay, now this I have to label as a prophet, oops, for Edom. Okay, now down here I have to name it 2 for the simple fact that here, this is a prophecy against so I don't want to say they're his priests anymore, but the priests, and I'll give them a capital letter just to know that they're the ones that were working inside his oh boy, I really got carried away here. A prophecy against the priest. Now this is where the prophecy starts. A son honors his father and a servant his lord. If I am a father to you, or a lord, where is my honor for me? Where is your honor for me? If I am your lord, where is your respect for me? For your priests despise my name. But you will say, how have they despised your name? Okay, so this is going to the king, and that would have been who? Now we know that it was Manasseh. Okay, now we know it's in Manasseh's time. Now, but you will say, how have they despised despised? I'm looking to see if I should put the word my here. Nope. Yet you will know yet you know they are presenting defiled offerings on my altar. Meaning the king, like I just got done telling you, he's involved in this stuff. When they presented the blind or their for a sacrifice, it is not this not despising me? Or when they presented the lame and sick, is this not despising me? Only if one among them would shut my gates, for I am not pleased with them, nor do I accept any offering by them. Meaning that later we're going to find out, because of the corruption that they had, this was causing the people that were coming to him to not respect our Creator either. This curse is for you, for your priests. So I needed to add that. If you do not listen to me and do not take it to heart to give honor to my name, I will send my curse upon you to curse you and not bless you. Yet I have cursed you because you are not taking my name into your heart. This needed a verse, and these two here hung together pretty good, so I needed to say this one's missing. For my promise to continue with Levi's was for their life and peace, and I gave to them reverence among the people, that they were to be the most honored, that they're coming before me, that's our Creator, and doing the things for the offering for an atonement to be made. Because at that time, our Creator was telling them that if they don't, and they're found out as sinners, and they haven't come and tried to to be asked to be atoned for it, that means they needed to be forgiven. They were literally kicked out of the kingdom. Okay, that isn't very clean in the text, but it's clean when you understand why forgiveness is there. And if he says, and he would tell the priest, yes, I accept him or not, that's why they were meeting with him in his tent for meeting with him, or in his house they were meeting with him. He literally was talking to the priest for this person who was, and he would have known whether he needed to bring his actions to the priest to be forgiven. Now, they had stopped doing this correctly, and this is what this text is about. Okay, so he set up the priests of old that they were in reverence, to be reverenced. And see, here's the text. So actually I can say, yes, this continues, because this was just an extra, this was the second video. And they stood in awe of my name, and true instructions were from their mouths. Uprightness was not found in their lips, and they walked with me in peace and uprightness. Now, for the lips of my priests preserved their knowledge with me, and man sought instructions from them, for they were my messengers. When we look at the lost years of Judges, and there's probably 200 to 300 years that Judges were there, the text stops at Joshua and then picks up with Eli's sons in Jerusalem already. I mean, the two kingdoms are already separated themselves. And then Eli is the last judge. Well, not the last judge, because Samuel was raised by Eli, and he was judging the country. So he was the last judge. But when their young weren't paying attention and not doing what Samuel was telling them to do, they asked for a king. And then they started having kings. But there's no judges for hundreds of years. So, and there was. Where did these judges come from? Well, they were, when the priest hit 50 years old, the high priest hit 50 years old, he was sent outside. He's done working there. He's supposed to be the one the most knowledgeable. He's supposed to be the wisest. This is what they're talking about. He became the judge, okay, for them. It was passed through Levi's to have this place of honor that you're before him. Now that you know the rules and laws inside and out, you become the final judge in your territory that you're living, or in your tribe's area that you wish to live in. And you now are also to be sought for information, and you don't have to go all the way to Jerusalem. Now, this is what it's talking about. They were his messengers. But you have turned away from me and caused many to stumble away from me. You corrupted my promises to Levi's before all his people. And this is Jesus' people. But this text, let's see. I'm thinking I give this number 2. But this needs to be titled 3. And this is more or less Malachi waving his finger at them and talking to them. Wow. And it's like he's telling them, do we not all have one Father, meaning Creator? Has not one God created us? Why do you deal treacherously against your brother? Or that should be brothers. Because males brought their sin offering. The male was supposed to be the head of the family. Anyone in the family, they are to the head of the house. The male is supposed to come make the offering. Now, when I don't know the rules for widows, but I'm probably sure that they sought out the elderly brother or brother-in-law. Now, you have profaned his promises with our forefathers, and now all Judah has been deceived. Abominations have been committed in Jerusalem, in Judah and Jerusalem. So when you look at the title here at the very beginning, let me go up here. You can see that this is the wrong title, okay? This text is actually coming from a long time ago. So really, Malachi here is actually from Judah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, move down. Move group down. Okay, and I'll do this, italicize in blue, and I'll give it a color. And then what I'm going to do is use the title but Malachi can't be used here. So I'm just going to set prophecy for Edom, and we don't know who it's coming from because it sure can't be Malachi. If Malachi is 400 years later, we can't have Malachi here. So I'm going to take that out here and put that here and change Israel to Judah. Okay, now we know the truth, and we can get this here out, do that, clean that up, whoops, and then moved group here. And save that. So now we have the prophecy, and now this is actually 1. So this is going to be 1 for Malachi. Need to have it needs to be a piece of the prophecy for Edom is the way this is going to get, and that is how this is going to start. From an unknown prophet. And this, since I added all this, okay, I added it all. I need to do this. and change it to this color. And then use Malachi, take that, get rid of that, and come down here and say there. And I will take this text here, and I'm now going to move it to the very end, just so we have the true truth. And this will be copy. I can get rid of this, go to the very end, and I'll put it down here for right now, and save it. Now we finally have Malachi. Okay, now we have actually found the text or the prophecy from our Creator through Malachi to Judah. Okay. So where was I when I found this? Well, it's the priests that were stumbling, and we found this here. I don't know if I got that far, but this has to be 2 now. Well, I've lost myself by trying to do a little bit and can't remember where I went. Oh, needs to be moved above. Here. Okay. And respect for my name and offering, I had to do that. I needed to add that. I added that, took that out. Yes, I was talking about this. I added this, and then it was Jerusalem. And that's why, yes, this is where I stopped. It was about Judah, so I had to make sure that we put the title and put Micah or Malachi in the right place and have the right prophecy for Malachi. And now we know exactly when this was happened. Had to come to that idiot king. So you have profaned his promises with our forefathers, and now all Judah has been deceived. Abominations have been committed in Judah and Jerusalem. For Judah has profaned the house for meeting with YHVH. And I'm only going to make the house bold, and I guess the word meeting bold. I'm not going to color them because they're evil now. So they should not get any respect in me define it as it's our Creator's house anymore with good priests in it. So that's how I'll do it. Has profaned the house for meeting with YHVH. That was putting all the idols in that I was telling you about. And they have been marrying the daughter of a foreign god. Okay. That I can bring up. Oh, what happened here? This. I gotta shut this down and reopen it because why is it failing me too? Okay, let's see. Get rid of that one. Okay, I was missing this side of the column here. So I'm going to pull up what I've shown before, and this is what Jeremiah was saying at this time. Now Jeremiah was at the same time as Malachi then. And here you take a screenshot of this, and let me get rid of my face here for you. When you read this text, you'll see that he's arguing with the people and how they're all onto this female goddess. Okay, so there's enough of that. You should have got the screenshot there. Now, to Do I need? No, but I'll just mention that you know this story in Revelation about how there's a mother of all harlots. Well, this is that daughter. If anybody can marry her and have sex with her, this is what it is. In fact, yeah, there's other things that's going on, but foreign god, and this would be Ra. Okay. For man who does this, male or female is man, wife who will remove us from our land. This, for man doing this. So this needs to be down. This needs to be ing. For man doing this, YV will remove us from our land, just like he did the kingdom of Israel. Okay. Now there's 2 verses missing here, because all of a sudden the text, he's pretty much saying, I say YV no longer regards your offerings, and yet you say, for what reason? I say YV has been a witness between you and your wife. In other words, like when I said, when did this start happening? And it's when all the priests started doing this. You have to remain single after this if you're going to keep up this practice. That's why the Pope has never been married. That's why your priests aren't married. That's why your nuns aren't married. That's why you got Buddhists out there and Hindus that are out there. All their holy men are single. Monks are all single for this reason, to have this sex practice. In fact, I bet you go search in the colleges today and go to the mythological section, and you'll probably find that most of those people are single and teaching it. And you can spot these people out by looking at their left wrist, and you can see their blood pulse right there. You don't need to feel it for anything. You will literally see it, okay? So that's one way you can out people, by doing that. Now you know why the left is on the left hand. Anyways, you have turned away from your wife, whom you have dealt treacherously, although she is your companion. And this is while you were seeking a godly offspring. And I'm going to explain that here. When you took heed for your bubble, instead of her, needs to be instead of her, those need to be there. So what they do is, during this practice, after they have sex with the female goddess, there's this bubble that comes up the spine and keeps going around the body, and there's many things that they do with this bubble, but what this bubble does is it re-heals everything. It doesn't regenerate, it re-heals. And this is the godly offspring that they were seeking for, is this bubble. Now, why didn't I use the letter O here to say, instead of your O instead of her? Because in the Hebrew text, there is no O. But if you do a search in your Bible, and I think there's 300 and maybe 50 verses that will have, O God, O Lord, O Creator. And I know you are saying it, O God, O Lord, O Creator. But they are writing it, and they're in control of the text, and you don't know they're deceiving you by saying, O is our God, O is our Lord, O is our Creator, O Holy Spirit. That bubble has an inside that's the O Holy Spirit, okay? Now, that you know that, and I went in depth more in the video when I went over that part. No male should deal treacherously against their wife from their youth, for YV has said he hates divorce. Okay. I had to add the S here. And I had to add those words to complete it. Now we're back into prophecy, okay? So what I need to do is I'm going to copy this. Okay, you can see I had to take out some words. Now I'm going to copy this, put this as a half, do this. Whoops, not that. Wrong thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. Put the text over here, downsize it so I can read it to see if it goes goes with this text here, because it might just need to go here. Before all his people, I'm going to send my king. Okay, that isn't showing up very good. Let me move this over, and I can move this over. Okay. Before all his people. And yet, I could put the word yet here. And I guess, no, I'm going to just leave it as the word yet. Yet I am going to send my king, and I will clear a way before him, and the Lord whom you seek will suddenly, who his seeks is. And the Lord whom his seeks. You're seeking him. And the Lord, take that down. And the Lord, I'll say mine. And the Lord mine and the Lord mine are to be looking for. Waiting for. Waiting for will suddenly come to my house. He is the messenger of my promise. Yeah, this is carrying on pretty good because again, because he's going to be against those who are oppressing the widow and orphan. Don't need duh there. And those who are turned away from me and do not fear me, for I did not change. You are sons from Israel in the day from the days of your forefathers. My priests did not turn away from my commandments. But this now becomes a repeat. So is this actually a second prophecy? He's talking about if they return, because if they're going to return, I guess this could be stuck in here. I have no problem with sticking it in here for the simple fact that a lot of his prophecies talk about repenting and then this will happen. So here, they aren't repenting. And I can just see by the extent of the use of the words in these verses right here is not really truly the same writer here. Has a likeness, but it has a likeness, but I don't think it's actually the same writer. but that will be determined later, because yeah, I'm just throwing it out there that it could be. I'm going to put it here, down here, and that way this I'm going to copy it, bring it over here, put it here, and go all the way down to the bottom where I got it. Whoops. Right here. But did I take out? No. Good enough. Good enough. Because the corrections that I've done, I want to make sure that they're in the text here. Okay, I need to take a quick break. We're 46 minutes into this, and I do want to finish it up. And I can't do it right now, so I don't want to make it a part 5, so give me a quick minute and I'll be right back. Okay, so I can get rid of this, and mine are to be waiting for, will suddenly come to my house. He is the messenger of my promises, in whom you will delight. Behold, he is coming. I guess many of you could probably fill in a blank and probably be truthful about it. We could probably have maybe 20 different ways to be said here about Jesus. When he appears, he will be like a refiner's fire and sit as a smelter and purifier of silver. As in the days of old, as in the former years, he will be against the diviners and against the adulterers. The diviners are the ones that sitting and having the sex practice with the female goddess, and against those who oppress the widow and orphan, and those who have turned away from me, and do not fear me. For I do not change. You are the sons from Israel. From the days of your forefathers, my priests did not turn away from my commandments. But now you have not kept them. But if you repent and return to me, I will open for you the clouds in the heaven and pour out for you rain until it's overflowing. Then I will not be rebuking you and have plenty to eat. Then every kingdom will call you the land of the plenty. Now you are saying the arrogant are the blessed, now that the wicked, and now their wickedness has been built up, and they are now provoking me. Yet those who fear me spake to one another about you, and I gave them my attention to them, and they will be his servants. After his days I have prepared for his servants, and I will have pity on you, and I too will have pity on you, like a male has pity for his own son. But you will again, but only if you again, but only if you will again distinguish between the righteous and the wicked, and its evil, the righteous and the evil ones. Between one who serves me and one who does not serve me. Behold, his days are coming to be like a flaming furnace, and all the arrogant and every evildoer will be burnt. Okay, and then we have this, which I've already went through, is actually and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and find that Manasseh's name here. So I don't have it spelt wrong. Oh boy. Manasseh's priest. Okay. Now the only thing I need to do here is copy all this again and clean it up, and we'll have the answer here. Oops. Oops, I need more of this. And this would be 4, I think. Here, remove this. Move that, leave that there, remove this. Wait a second. If this is up here, I need to take that out. Should be what I was doing, yep. So this needs to be taken out here. And then this is 3. Then what I'll do is I'll make it smaller enough so you take screenshots and you can then study it on your own, and then maybe even open up your text and see what you can do on and what you would do instead of what I did. But you are going to have to probably trust me on what I'm saying about the stories. You can recheck them if you want, but now we have, I'm going to make this smaller and make sure, yep. Gee, I'm glad okay, because when you see this, when you bring it up, you'll be able to have it printable. I only have this 7 inches wide to make a PDF for people with cell phone, but what I'll do now is I'll move the text up here, give you a second or two, and then here, and then like that. I think that's where it was divided. I'm sorry if I got messed up here. And then I'll bring that one up right there for the final one. Now that is some text, okay? We have a piece from hundreds of years ago that are in here that I did not know that, I know there's a prophecy. Maybe it will actually go back with that. Or when I do the other books, and those are going to take months to do. And I really want to go over the 4 Gospels as soon as possible, right after these prophets. But you know what I know now, and it's pretty nice to see the text here. And we'll see you on the next video.